Ireland has been through the equivalent of a hurricane since the onset of the global financial crisis, and yet, in the last 12 months, Ireland has come back to the capital markets. Can you tell us a little bit more about the structural economic reforms that you've been taking in Ireland, and particularly perhaps to repair the banking system, which after all is the sine qua non for resumption of growth?
Yes, well, it's been a hurricane. 2 years ago, when the administration or government I lead was elected, we'd actually lost 250,000 jobs in the private sector in the 3 years prior to that. Our reputation was in shreds around the world. Our banks were dysfunctional. They couldn't approach any market, and there was a complete sense of hopelessness and despair and disillusionment. Now, government was elected with a very clear mandate to sort this out, to deal with our public financial problems, to make the changes in the structures in Ireland that would lead us to being able to prove that when you have a strategy and a plan and that you follow it, you'll see results. And 2 years on, interest rates are down from 14% to 4%. Our banks have been recapitalised, restructured, have been back in the markets without a state guarantee as tentative signs of being able to exit this programme in 2013. We have over 1,000 multinationals still driving exports in double-digit figures. But our people have had to take really serious challenges because government made really serious decisions. And it's an example for Europe and for anywhere else that if a government actually works with its people and understanding the patience of people and putting up with these changes, that in the greater picture of things, results will flow. Now, we expect to exit our programme in 2013, but we cannot do it without the cooperation of what's been committed to from our European colleagues. And we hope to do that in 2013 as an example of what a success can be for a smaller country, as you say, as part of the bigger European Union issue. And I would like to say that it's important in terms of international reputation for contributor countries to be able to understand that their money here is not wasted. The mechanisms and the tools that are available now were not available when the crash hit Ireland. And we were required to borrow 64 billion, or 40% of our GDP, to pay for banks and private creditors to banks in a situation which has been a crushing burden on the people. So their patience has been long, and they've been waiting, and markets have actually factored in a conclusion to this situation for Ireland. So we hope that that can be so. Now, I would like to say that as in the middle of all that, Lionel, in the middle of all that, we were required by our Constitution to have a referendum of the people on the Fiscal Stability Treaty. And Ireland voted 60-40 in favour of the euro and in favour of maintaining our central contact with Europe and the Eurozone, because that's where we see our future. And that's why in this presidency, we want to run this effectively in the interests of all the countries as an honest broker for Europe. And that's why I'd like to see the issues of trade, the digital single market, Japan, Singapore, Canada, the opening of negotiations with the United States following the high-level report. I think these are real opportunities. Politics for all of us here who are leaders is essentially about people. We've got 26 million people unemployed in the European Union. There are millions of young people who do not see their careers or their opportunities being rewarded by the decisions made by politicians. And that's a central issue, that people have to see leaders follow through on the decisions that are made. And that's an issue always with Europe. When you make decisions at the European Council, see that they're followed through in the interests of all the citizens. So I hope that we can conclude an MFF for the 7 years. I hope that during this presidency, we can then go to the Parliament and discuss that with them, because they're required from Lisbon to give their consent and authorisation, and then move to CAP reform and the 70 legislative files that are necessary to be put through.
Very good.
So if we have that future, We must follow through on the decisions and make them happen. That's what politics is about.